Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tamara Kohmann.
And I'm Brinda Dass. Welcome back to LMTV Live.
I'm really excited about today's special guest. He's entertaining, has a great sense of humor, and makes the critical writing and American studies classes here at Lower Moreland High School truly a lot of fun. Please welcome Mr. Mark Rosser.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Before we jump into questions, we were hoping you could tell us a little bit about yourself. What made you decide to teach high school and focus on classes such as critical writing and American studies?
Well, I first taught elementary school. I taught 6th grade, and from there, when I taught reading, writing, math, and social studies, I decided I want to focus on English. I've been doing that probably for about 20 years now, and I really enjoy the critical writing class, getting to see the different thoughts that students have, and especially with some of the writing we do on current issues and exploring those. And with American Studies, I'm happy to work with the other teachers, the social studies teachers, such as Mr. Hoffman, Mr. Pezza, Mr. Morris, Mr. Beck. So they each have different teaching styles, but they bring different strengths to it, and it's great where we can make connections from one subject to another, because I think the more students can make connections in school to different subjects and to different things in their life, the more meaningful the learning can be.
How long have you been teaching here at Lower Moreland High School?
I've been teaching here since 2004. I started teaching when I was teaching 6th grade in 1988.
Last week we interviewed Mr. Hoffman. We discussed specific examples in history where buildings, monuments, and structures truly helped unify people globally and strengthened communities hit hard by tragic events, various social tensions, or extended periods of tough times. Are there works of literature, classical theatrical productions, or critical writing pieces that have played a similar role in uniting people or helping them through these hardships?
I'll mention 2 pieces in particular. One we're doing in critical writing right now. It's called the Freedom Writer's Diary, and it shows a class of students in the 1990s after the Rodney King riots. There's a lot of tension between the Asian community, the Latino community, African American community, and the white students. And with this, the students at the beginning of the year struggled to get along with each other, and they learned to come together and serve kind of as a model for the rest of the community. So that's something that gives hope, and we see a lot of similarities between what's going on there and what's going on in our society today. In terms of a play that comes to mind is A Raisin in the Sun by Lorraine Hansberry, and that was an important play because it was the first play that focused on an African American family as the main characters and explored their life and the struggles that they had as individuals, not just as a supporting cast. And the play focused on as they moved into an all-white neighborhood, and there were a lot of difficulties with it, and it showed there was still a lot of progress that needed to be made, but it did give some signs of hope, and that to me was a play that was very inspirational. And Lorraine Hansberry, the playwright, was a strong African American woman presenting this message to America.
As we look to our new Lower Moreland High School, can this build really serve as a beacon of hope and light amidst all the hardships and tensions that hit our community over the past year and a half?
I think it will. I think it's very exciting, and I know I'm excited for the new building, but I think that we need to keep in mind that the building is nice and it's going to be functional and beautiful, but ultimately it's going to come down to us as people, as students, as teachers, administrators, all of us coming together to be inspired by this building to do our best. And I think it's going to provide so many wonderful opportunities. I really look forward to it.
How can students who are perhaps victims of COVID-19 or subject to any of the racial, cultural, and various other social tensions that hit our school community last year express themselves? Is there a platform through which students can express themselves through writing, or an organization through which they can share their ideas or call to action campaign suggestions?
Right. Well, I would think of with students who are going through all of these difficulties, the first thing I would say to students would be that it's important to ask for help. So don't try to take things on too much yourself, and there are caring adults in the school, and find someone who you trust to talk with, whether it's a teacher, a counselor, administrator, someone in the cafeteria, bus driver. Find someone to talk to, and people will help. And in terms of people who maybe are doing okay, but witness some of these things, I'd say be an ally for people who are struggling or being discriminated against or oppressed. And when you see something that's not right, speak up. It can be difficult, but it's important to do. And those I think would be things that if we can all take them on as a community and as individuals, then we'll be moving in a real positive, we'll continue to move in a real positive direction.
We heard that you're part of the new DEI, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Council. Can you tell us a little bit about this initiative? What is it about? What are some of the goals and events planned? And most importantly, how can students get involved?
Right, so the DEI Council, I am part of that. At this point, where we meet once every 2 months, and in the interim, there are subcommittee meetings as well. I'm part of the Culture, Climate, and Safety Committee, and our goal is having an environment in the school where people feel welcome, included, and that they are celebrated for who they are. And in terms of how students can go, in terms of where the information about this can be presented, there's so much going on with that. I would say on the school website there's a link for the DEI Council, and there's a lot of information there. So that would probably be the most efficient way for people to explore that.
Thank you so much for all of your time and insight, Mr. Rosser. We really appreciate it. If you have any questions for Mr. Rosser or our documentary team, please email us at thenewlmhsdocumentaryteam@gmail.com.
Or leave us a message on our website. You can access our website through the link provided on the LMTSD website under the About Us section. Click the New High School Project. Thank you, everyone. Till next time, I'm Brinda Dass.
And I'm Tamara Kohmann for LMTV Live.